So today we're gonna start the third module, and this third module is on sigmoid neuron, right? So what are the things that we're gonna see in sigmoid neuron? This is a bird eye view, right? In the case of perceptron also, we have seen that our input was real input. We are no longer dealing with binary input. That is a one good thing. That's why a smiley face. In case of our perceptron, our output was still binary, right? So that was a drawback of perceptron. So we will see that in case of sigmoid neuron, that drawback will be no longer with us. We will be able to solve the problem of regression also using sigmoid neuron. That means what? My output will be real, right? When I say real, it doesn't mean the real life color real. It means that a set of real
True or
number.
false, it won't be true or false.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah. Real means a set of real number. It can be 1.2, it can be 1.3, anything like that. Right? The biggest drawback we had in case of perceptron was the decision boundary was linear. So we will get rid of that drawback. I won't say that we will fully get rid of that drawback, but we'll see how to generate some non-linear decision boundary. Okay. The loss function we had in case of perceptron was square error loss. We will continue with that loss in this case also. So no change in terms of loss function. The learning algorithm we had in perceptron, we will have similar kind of learning algorithm in case of sigmoid neuron also, but you'll see some additional terms here. Now the learning algorithm will become further more complicated, right? So I want you to absolutely clear about perceptron learning algorithm, then only you're able to perceive sigmoid neuron learning algorithm. And last thing is accuracy. The formula of accuracy still remains same. It is the fraction of correct prediction that we are making. Okay, so this is the roadmap we are having with respect to sigmoid neuron. Okay, I wanted to quickly answer this question. Which of the following is not a limitation of perceptron model? Just now we have covered this. Can you give me answer for this?
Real valued input. Real valued input, right?
Real valued. Which of the following is not a limitation of perceptron? Real valued output is the limitation of perceptron.
No, I'm saying real valued input.
Oh, real valued input.
Non-linearity.
Yeah. No. Non-linearity is the limitation of perceptron. I'm asking not a limitation.
Not a limit. Okay, not a limitation.
The answer is this one. In case of
real value.
No. Yeah.
I think
the answer is real valued input. In case of perceptron, we dealt with real input, right? So obviously, real valued input is not a limitation of perceptron. We can deal with real input. The problem is that we cannot deal with real output in case of perceptron. So option 4 is the correct answer. Any question, anyone?
No.
Okay. Now let's move ahead. Okay. I would like to start this with an example. Okay. Let's say that you have a data. You have a data of person's income. Okay. And you have the target variable whether that person can buy a car or not. Okay. So let's say that a person monthly income I'm having in INR I'm having. This is income and this is okay, this is whether he can buy a car or not. Let's say income is 35k. He can't buy a car. He has 40k. Can't buy a car. 60k. He can buy a car. 55k. He can buy a car. Okay. Now, if you have to plot this data in XY plane, how can I plot this? I'll put my X income in x-axis, right? And my y-axis will have whether the person can buy car or not, right? So let's say this is a 35K. So here 35K, here 40K, 55K, 55K. This is 0, this is 1. Are you comfortable with this plot?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now just look at this data. What inference we can get after plotting this in this x5 plane? What we are saying that if the person age is below here, 55K will be there, right? 55K. Sorry, my handwriting is really bad. Right. What we are saying that if the person income is below 55K, then he is not able to buy a car. But if the person income is more than 55K, then he is able to buy a car. Okay, this is what we are trying to, we are getting inference from this plot, right? Do you with me? I mean, do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I show this graph to some other person, he might say that, how come this hypothesis is making sense? What we are saying that a person with 54,999 rupees income, he is not able to buy a car, but a person with 55,001 rupee is able to buy a car. Do you think that this hypothesis is making sense? No, right? We are saying that this, as per this diagram, what we are saying that a person with this income is not able to buy a car, but suddenly when he get 1 rupee extra, he is able to buy a car, right? That means there's a flaw in our hypothesis. What flaw it is? This shifting you are seeing, right? This till this point it was all 0, then suddenly it became 1. This doesn't happen in real life scenario. Rather, it would have made more better sense if instead of this, if my function would have been something like this. Right? In that case, if my person is having this income, I could have said that there is a probability of 49% that he can buy a car. And for this person, I could have said that there's a probability of 55% that he would be able to buy a car. That would have made better sense, right?
Can you come again, Ashutosh? Like when where
Yeah.
you have drawn blue line, right?
Yeah.
The curve.
Yeah. Let me draw it nicely. Let's take this example. Okay, you can consider my x-axis as income, my y-axis as my status, whether he is able to buy a car or not. Okay, so if we'll see this blue line, this blue line is coming from perceptron, right? How this is operating till this threshold B, we are saying that my target will be 0, but the moment it crosses B, we are saying that the target is 1, right? This doesn't happen in real life case scenario. The way I have given example of car one, right?
Yeah.
So instead of this, what we would prefer is, instead of this blue line function, we will prefer to use this red line function, right? What this red line function is showing that if suppose somebody is having income like 54K, right? Then corresponding to this 54K, I'll have some value here in Y, right? If this is 1, then this will be something around 0.4, right? Corresponding to this point, corresponding to this point, here it is, let's say 56K, right? My B is 55K, right? 56K. There will be some corresponding Y with this. Let's say this is 0.6. Right. Now, by looking this graph, the red one, what we are seeing that if the person income is 55K, then there's a 40% chance. There's a 40% chance that he can buy a car. But if the person income is 56K, there's a 60% chance he can buy a car. This makes more sense compared to saying that if a person age is 50, sorry, if the person income is 56K, then there's a 100% chance that he can buy a car. If the person income is 54K, then there's a 0% chance that he can buy a car. Are you able to follow?
Yeah. So basically, you're trying to say that the blue line, which represents the perceptron algorithm,
Yes.
is like, Boolean in nature. It's either
Yes.
this or that.
Yes.
Whereas in this red line, we are having this ability of getting the chances in percentages of like 40%, 50%,
Yes.
60%.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So see this blue curve, this is called a Harsh function. Why? Because it is just Boolean. Till this threshold point, it is say everything as a 0%. The moment you cross this threshold, it will say 100%.
What function? Can you come again?
This blue line. So the name of this function is called step function. This is step function, right? This is
Okay.
this blue one is step function. But what we would prefer is we would prefer this red function, which is called logistic function or sigmoid function. So ideally, we would prefer to have an algorithm which is capable of generating this red line like function with this sigmoid function, because this sigmoid function can be used for both the case. It can be used for predicting binary value. It can be used for predicting the continuous value. For example, in case of the one which I'm showing here, it is giving some real value, right? It is giving 60%, 40%, like that. But the same thing can be approximated as binary also. You can set a threshold here. You can set a threshold here where you'll say that any probability which is more than 0.5, I'll say it as 1. Anything which is below 0.5, I will say it as 0. So you can approximate this sigmoid function as perceptron function also, as step function also, right? But for all practical purpose, we would prefer to have a function which can generate some sigmoid function, right? Because the inference which we are getting from sigmoid function, it is more correlated with real life scenario. Do you agree with me?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Everyone?
So, yeah. So is MP the
MP
first
neuron.
algorithm we saw,
MP
right?
neuron. Yep.
That is also like hard function, right?
Yes, that is also hard function. It was like an if-else condition, right? What it was doing, it was simply taking the summation of wi xi. This is perceptron, by the way, right? If it is greater than equal to b, the output was what? The output was 1. If it was less than this, the output was what? It was 0. So it is like an if-else condition. Till you have a x value which is lesser than threshold, your output will be always 0. The moment you cross threshold, even by slight degree, still you will have your y cap as 1. This doesn't make sense. At least to me, it doesn't make sense, right? We can't say that a person which is having 49,999 rupees as his income can't buy a car, but we are saying that a person with 50,000 1 rupee can buy a car. If we'll follow perceptron algorithm, that is what inference we are getting, right? So that is a reason instead of perceptron, we should move toward an algorithm which is capable of generating some function like this, which is called sigmoid function. Are you all agree with me?
Yep.
Okay. Now the question is, how do we generate this sigmoid function, right? So this is, if you'll see carefully, this function is not coming from some another universe. This is just some advancement we are doing on perceptron, right? So how to generate this red function is, we will have the perceptron equation, right? We will have this perceptron equation, which is what? Xi, Wi, right? If I have to do it for only one feature, then what I can do, I equal to 0 to 1. If I want to expand it, what I can do is, I can have Wx plus W1 x1 plus W0 x0, where my x0 is what? 1, and W0 is what? B, right? You agree with me? Or if I want to further simplify it, I can just simply write Wx plus B, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now what if, suppose, if this is the output, if this is the output, if I'm putting into this equation, I'll be getting this red line, right? So this is a sigmoid function. The output which I'm getting from perceptron, if I'll put into this place, I'll be getting red line. So the way we had the formula for perceptron, similarly for sigmoid neuron also we have the formula, and this is the formula for sigmoid we are having, right? So the sigmoid formula is also using perceptron only. It's just that they are putting the perceptron value into this place, and the new function which we are getting is nothing but the red one.
Is that symbol on the graph the symbol for sigmoid, like summation? We have this symbol, right? Then the graph which you have obtained on this model, is it the symbol for to denote sigmoid function? Like sigmoid, I mean, symbol.
Which one? This red one you're talking?
Yeah, the whole thing, even the blue one and the red one together.
No, blue. Forget about the blue one. The blue one is coming from perceptron.
Perceptron. Okay, is that the red one, the sigmoid?
Yes, yes. So this red one, line I'm getting after putting my value in this equation, in this expression. Okay. So the way we
So how
had
writing, how do you sigmoid then? Like summation, you know how we write I is equal to 0 to 1. How
see,
do
the
we write sigmoid?
simple formula for sigmoid is nothing but 1 upon 1 plus e raised to minus x. This is the sigmoid formula, right? So
Yeah.
what we are doing, we are just putting the value of x as what we have from perceptron, because we want to approximate this sigmoid function as perceptron function as sigmoid. So that is why we are putting the equation of perceptron into this expression, and it is giving me a red line, red curve. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is happening when we are putting the perceptron equation into this expression? It is squeezing the value between 0 and 1. You will see that the value of this y, it will be always between 0 and 1. This y will be always between 0 and 1. Right? Now, since this expression is squeezing the value between 0 and 1, we can infer this value as probability score or probability value. Right? If suppose after putting into this equation, if my y is coming as 0.7, that means what we can say, that there's a 70% chance that this person is going to get diabetes. You are going to like this phone. So you can relate this value which I'm getting of y as probability score. That advantage we are getting with sigmoid neuron. Okay. Now, what is happening here is, when will I get my y equal to 1? Sorry, y equal to 0.5. This is y equal to 0.5, right? So when will I have value of y as 0.5?
When it is 0, wx plus b.
Both x-axis and y-axis meet at one point. Is that?
When x is equal to 0?
Yes, when x is equal to 0. When the moment when this x is equal to 0, if this is equal to 0, then y will equal to 0.5. How? 1 upon 1 plus 1, right? So it is 0.5. So you are getting a 50% chance when your wx plus y is becoming equal to 0. When you will have y equal to 1, when this y will become equal to 1. I told that now this y can have any value between 0 and 1. So when this y will become 1?
When x is too large.
Yes, when x is too
WX
large. When this
When
becomes
it's-
too large, right? So in that case, this functions will knock off. Sorry, this part will knock off. Because what it
this
will
will
be,
approximate to 0.
because 1 upon e raised to very large, let's say infinity, it is almost 0, equal to 0. So that expression will become 1 upon 1 plus 0. That is 1. Right? Now tell me when this y will become equal to 0?
When x is too small.
Yes, when x is too small. So too small means when we will have negative value of wx plus b. When this is very, very small value, let's say that when it is equal to minus infinity, then it is what? 1 upon 1 plus e raised to minus of minus infinity, right? 1 upon 1 plus e raised to infinity. This is a huge number. The denominator will be a huge number. So 1 upon infinity is equal to 0. Right?
One question, Ashutosh.
Yeah.
So for the case where y is equal to 0.5, right?
Mhm.
It is happening when x is 0. But
Yeah.
then what is happening to b? So it will be 1 plus 1 by e to the power of minus b, right?
In this part, so this point you are saying?
Yeah.
So your question is when my y is equals to 0.5, what would be the value of b, right?
So,
For
so
y equal to
I think
0.5, x is 0, right?
For y equal to 0.5, x is equals to 0. Yeah, x.
Yeah.
So when
Then
I say x, it means this term is 0.
no, x is 0, right? So when x is 0, so wx is 0, but b
Yes,
is
is
still
it?
there.
No. This expression has to be 0. So whatever is there as a power of e, that has to be
Okay.
0,
Okay.
right? So in that case, what would be the value of b? Right? If,
Together it, right?
sorry?
You mean the whole thing, like e power
Yes.
minus of wx b should be 0.
Yes, so this has to be 0 because this is what we are getting from perceptron, right?
Yeah.
So this has to be
so.
0.
Ashutosh, you considered 1 upon 1 plus e raised to minus x as base equation for explaining. That's why I think they are confused.
Oh, okay. So initially, what I gave you was I gave the formula of perceptron. Then I said that I am putting the value of my perceptron into x. What was the value of my perceptron? It was wx plus b, right? When I put this value wx plus b here, I'm getting this expression. So this is a formula for sigmoid neuron. In place of x, so this is a general formula. This is a general sigmoid formula, right? But we have to put the value of x here. The value of x is what? Wx plus b. So that is why I'm getting this expression.
So this y will be 0.5 when wx plus b is 0, right?
Yes.
When that
Yes.
whole thing is 0. Okay.
Yes. Yep. Okay. There's just one small thing I want to cover. Okay. I think I'll start this topic tomorrow only. Let me invest a little bit more time here. Yeah. So here you'll see that when my minus wx plus b is equal to 0, what is the value of b I'm having? My b will be minus wx. Okay.
It is Wx.
Why is wx? It will be minus wx, right?
Yeah.
This minus, so this minus does not have any significance,
Yeah.
right? This is the value of wx. I mean the value of b. Okay. So this is the introduction about sigmoid neuron, how the function of sigmoid neuron looks like, right? What is the motivation for reading sigmoid neuron? Tomorrow we will talk about the decision boundary of sigmoid neuron, right? So the decision boundary of sigmoid neuron is slightly different. It looks